Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
Good morning, and welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Graham Yavina, and tonight we're talking about baseball, actually. This isn't the home and gardening podcast channel, this is the baseball channel. And tonight I want to tell you guys about something that's so exciting. My team won a game. So, if you've been following me around for a while, you know that I love Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are my favorite team. I love the D-backs. I love the Snakes. And the problem with loving a team like I do is that our team occasionally isn't very good. So the last time I was on the channel, I lamented that we weren't succeeding to the degree that I wished. Our team wasn't thriving. We weren't doing well. And a record at the time was like 4th in the NL West, which, of course, isn't terrible because NL West is a tough division, but still, we could do a lot better. So, I wanted to say that now, after a torrid week, the Diamondbacks are now entrenched, number 4 still, but we're 12-12. We're playing .500 baseball. We're back in the even column. I'm so excited. And if you take a look at our most recent record, our extrapolated wins-loss records, we're 12-12. 3.5 games back of the Dodgers, who have not been playing as well as we'd expect. At home, the D-backs are 3-4. Away, we're 9-8. On the road, we've scored 124 runs, given 121 runs allowed. Differential +3, which implies that we're playing better, even, than what a record might suggest. So that is excellent. And the last 10 games, this is the big deal. We are now 7-3. So that means that we are the hottest team in baseball, actually. Because you take a look around the league, the last 10 games, who else 7-3? The Royals, the Athletics, the Giants, and us. No other team in baseball has played as well as we have the last 10 games. That's good stuff. We're competing now. And I'm just excited about that. And so I want to give you some top performances, some top performers in our roster. So if you look over here for the team batting average leader is David Peralta at .267, which I know isn't exceptional, but still, 267's okay, we can deal with that. Home runs, we have Eduardo Escobar at 7 home runs. RBIs, it's David Peralta again at 19. On-base percentage is Asdrubal Cabrera at .349. For hits, it's David Peralta again, 23. And for WAR, at least for batting WAR, if you look by that, the leader is, surprisingly, Carson Kelly, the catcher, at 1.6. So here's the amazing thing. Peralta's batted 86 times. He's hit 3 home runs. He's gotten an average of .267, on-base plus slugging of .814, and his WAR is only 0.4. So what does that imply? If your WAR is 0.4 and you're hitting an OPS of .814. I don't have Peralta's OPS plus pulled up yet, but I have to imagine that .814 is better than league average. League average for a left fielder is probably around 760, 750 OPS. And OPS, remember, is a measurement of on-base percentage plus slugging. It's a crude indication of how well do you get on base and how hard do you hit the ball per at-bat. So usually anything above 750 is good. It means that you are handling the bat well and you're contributing positively for your offense. But granted, this is subjected to park factors. Like 750 at Dodger Stadium might be better than 750 at Coors Field, because in Coors, the altitude is higher and the ball flies further off the bat, and people just hit better there. So, Peralta, to make a long story short, is hitting well. But his WAR at 0.4 at this point in the season indicates that it's not his offense that's holding him back, it's his defense. It's his defense. So that could be a problem. So that means that people like Eduardo Escobar, who've been hitting similarly A22, but have been presumably playing defense better, have a WAR of 0.8, double Peralta. Cabrera, the utility guy, third baseman, second baseman, who, remember, was originally a shortstop from Cleveland, has batted 72 times, but has a WAR of 1.0, despite having an OPS of 738. So Cabrera's defense probably has been making the difference. And that brings us to Carson Kelly, who has played 49 at-bats, 18 games part-time. He's a catcher, but he's hit 6 home runs, has an average of 327, an on-base percentage of, brace yourself, 507, a slugging of 735, and OPS of 1.242. That's pretty good. For a WAR of 1.6. Now, first of all, catchers probably shouldn't be judged by WAR, because a catcher's job primarily is to get as many called strikes for the pitcher as possible. So Jeff Mathis, and guys, disregard that, it's my cat, Lily. See, my cat's going through withdrawal syndrome. She's now 12 years old, but if I don't pick her up and play with her all the time, she gets very clingy. So occasionally you'll hear her just like start meowing in the background, and that's just her trying to establish dominance. I can't let her win. I'm doing a podcast right now. So catchers are probably not best evaluated by WAR, because catchers aren't really paid to hit, and WAR cares about that. And the WAR calculation for catchers probably doesn't include framing metrics, which really matter. So people like Jeff Mathis are rated terribly by WAR, even though they are among the best catchers in baseball, because they know how to frame, and they can take away pitches that were balls for strikes. So that's really valuable. That's really important. More statistics. So Ketel Marte has 26 at-bats. So probably dealing with some injuries, maybe some fatigue. But while he's been playing well. 462 average, 500 OPS, 500 on base, 846 slugging for an OPS of 1.346. So his WAR is 0.5 despite playing only a third of the games of Peralta. So Ketel Marte has been injured but killing it. Josh Van Meter, the young guy who's been playing second base for the Diamondbacks recently, has been batting .212, WAR of 0.3, pretty good. Hold on. Andrew Young, the second baseman, the young second baseman, Andrew Young, has played 6 at-bats. He's gotten 2 hits, average of 333, and WAR of 0.3, but you can't tell much from that. He's at such a small sample size. Cole Calhoun, I don't know why I pronounce it like that. Cole Calhoun is actually from Buckeye, Arizona. He's from Arizona, and he's playing for Diamondbacks now. I'm sure he's happy. It's been reflecting his average. He's played 48 at-bats, average of 292, OPS of 813, WAR of 0.2. Stephen Vogt, the other catcher for the Diamondbacks, has played 12 games, 32 at-bats, 3 home runs, 188 average, but a 726 OPS, which is good for a catcher, WAR of 0.1. Again, catcher, what can you do? Pavin Smith has been there. Remember, he was drafted, I believe, in the first round, 2018. He's risen quickly, but he's a first baseman that can't really hit for power. So he's more known for his contact prowess, his on-base skills. And at the time, I really wanted Adam Hazley, but they picked Pavin Smith. And so far, Smith's batted 74 at-bats, 2 home runs. He's had 7 RBIs, 257 average, 295 on base, 432 slugging, 727 OPS, WAR of 0.1. And if you look down further, there's a new guy named Wyatt Matheson who's played both third base and first base. He's played 35 at-bats, 1 home run, 143 average, ouch, OPS of 524, WAR of 0, just not enough of an impact. Now, the enigmatic Tim Locastro, that weird noise of my cat jumping on top of a desk and sniffing the microphone before climbing to my lap. So, I apologize for that. Here, let me fix that lead. Come on. Alright, there we go. She wanted the lap, now she's on the lap, now she's going to stay put and not make any noise. Isn't that right, Lily? So, there's a channel called Baseball Bits, Foolish Baseball on YouTube. And the guy who runs the channel did a great study showing that Tim Locastro is, of the Diamondbacks, is the fastest player in Major League Baseball. In the sense that he's fast. And he explained how, if there's a simple routine ground ball to the shortstop, Locastro beats it out a lot of the time. And by simply running faster, an extra foot per second or whatever, he can turn a lot of simple outs into base hits. So he is a versatile guy who can play shortstop, left field, center field, right field. He's played so far this season 52 at-bats, 1 home run, 4 walks, I believe it says 3 stolen bases, average of 269, on base of 345, OPS of 672, WAR of 0. And finally, Dalton Varsho. He's a catcher who can also play outfield, but he hasn't played much this season, only 1 at-bat so far. Not sure he's injured or if he's just in the minor leagues. They also have a guy named Josh Rojas. He's played 52 at-bats. He's got 1 home run. He's got 1 stolen base. Rojas has an average of 173, on base of 295, slugging of 267, WAR of negative 0.1. Christian Walker, Goldschmidt's replacement at first base. So Goldschmidt, as you know, left for St. Louis. Christian Walker has been playing first base in his stead. Now, he's been doing well. He had 1 home run. He's got 3 RBIs. He's got 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. All that's pretty good. So, and Nick Ahmed, the shortstop. Ahmed's been doing pretty poorly. He's 54 at-bats, average of 167, OPS of 419, WAR of negative 0.4. Yeah, Nick Ahmed just straight up can't hit. So, just so you know. And let's talk more about Christian Walker. I glossed over him. So he's at 3 home runs, he's at 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 11 total bases. He has 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Walker has an average of 179, on base of 250, it's 1 every 4, slugging of 282, and an OPS of 532. And a WAR of negative 0.1. Ahmed has had 54 at-bats. He's had 0 home runs, 4 RBIs. He's got 11 strikeouts. He's got an average of 167, OPS of 419, and a WAR of negative 0.4. That's concerning because even though he's a shortstop, and shortstops aren't really paid to hit, you could do better than that. In a world where people like Francisco Lindor live, and a world where people like Trey Turner live, Ahmed is a glove-first guy at a position that is combining now speed and power. So he can't hit. And Diamondbacks have to really just grit their teeth and just hope that extra defense makes up for it somehow. But if it does, it's not reflected in WAR. So that was basic batting average splits for the Diamondbacks. Let's talk about pitching. So coming up next for the Diamondbacks is, let's see. So the most innings pitched, we'll do by innings pitched. The leader is Merrill Kelly. And Merrill Kelly, if you don't know, he's from Houston, Texas. He's 32 years old. And I believe that he was purchased at some point from an independent ball club. In college, he went to Arizona State University. Good player. For his career, he's been up and down for his career. He's played 42 games, innings pitched of 241, strikeouts of 205, earned runs of 118. So he's been a decent pitcher for his career. For Diamondbacks this season, that's what we care about, right? For this season, he's been pitching 27 innings. He's now 2-2, started 5 games, earned runs allowed of 19. And that's an ERA of 6.33, which, ouch. WAR of negative 0.5. Next up is Madison Bumgarner. So he's pitched 25 innings. He's gotten 27 strikeouts. His ERA, though, is 6.31. Ouch. And this is after he pitched the gem he pitched that I'm about to show you guys in the next segment. A WAR of negative 0.4. Ouch. Next up is Taylor Widner. Taylor Widner has pitched 22 innings, ERA of 2.82. He's earned 18 strikeouts, WHIP of 1.12, WAR of 0.3. It's good news. Next up is Luke Weaver. Weaver has pitched 21 innings. He's earned, I believe it's 19 strikeouts. You have 19 strikeouts. He's got a WHIP of 1.11. He's got an ERA of 4.57. WAR of 0. Then there's Riley Smith. And Riley Smith's a guy I don't know much about. So Riley Smith is from Lufkin, Texas. He is 26 years old. And for his career, it looks like he's pitched 35 innings, 25 strikeouts. So he's basically a rookie. So Smith's playing for Diamondbacks now. This season, he's pitched 17 innings, started 2 games, played in 5 altogether. So he's been back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen. And Smith has an ERA of 4.67 for a WAR of negative 0.2. Then after that is Zach Gallen. So Zach Gallen, if you don't remember, was traded from the Diamondbacks from the Marlins to Diamondbacks in exchange for their top prospect, Jazz Chisholm. And Chisholm's playing well in the big leagues, so is Zach Gallen. It's a rare example of a win-win for both teams. So Gallen has started 3 games, innings pitched of 16.2. He's gotten 20 strikeouts, strikeouts per 9 of 10.8, WAR of 0.6, a WHIP of 0.96, ERA of 2.16. Excellent. He's been the first real shining bright spot for Diamondbacks. Then there's Caleb Smith. And Caleb Smith, I believe, is from Huntsville, Texas. He's 29 years old. I think he also came over from the Marlins at some point. Caleb Smith has pitched 14 innings, 17 strikeouts, 10.4 strikeouts per 9, ERA of 2.45, WAR of 0.2. Taylor Clark has pitched 12.1 innings. He has an ERA of 5.84, a WHIP of 1.38, a WAR of negative 0.3. Overall, okay, not great. Actually, I'll rephrase that. That's not great at all. Then there's Juan Lopez, the reliever from Cuba. He's pitched 10 innings, ERA of 6.3, WHIP of 1.8, WAR of negative 0.3. Overall, not great, but he's got 13 strikeouts, 10 innings, strikes per 9 of 11.7. That's not bad. Kevin Ginkel is next. He's pitched 9 innings, strikes per 9 of 12.0, even, ERA of 4.0, WHIP of 1.33, WAR of negative 0.1. And finally, let's talk about Alex Young. He was drafted by Diamondbacks 2016, I believe. He's pitched 8 innings, 10 strikeouts, 10.4 strikes per 9, WHIP of 1.5, ERA of 3.12, WAR of 0.1. That's all for the segment. Stay tuned after the break. We'll talk about facts and figures from around the league only at the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast. I'm Great Bambino. Still, I didn't change my name or anything since we last came back. And we're talking about the Diamondbacks. The first half of the segment was pretty boring, right? I told you, here's how everyone's doing today. And you're like, who cares? So, you should care because Zach Gallen pitched a gem a few days ago. So, I want to tell you guys all about it. The game was between the Diamondbacks and the Braves, and Zach Gallen pitched a gem. So, Rob Manfred last year made a rule change. And the rule change was this. Doubleheaders are now 7 innings. A complete game doubleheader is now 7 innings. And in the 8th inning, there's going to be pinch runners on second base to begin the 8th inning because it's extra innings. So, a complete game in a doubleheader is now 7 innings apiece. 7 for the first game, 7 for the second. Which, to me, seems like a strange rule. I understand the logic. Doubleheaders suck, and they're trying to save pitchers' arms, but, well, you'll see what the problem is in a minute. So Zach Gallen pitched the first game against Bryce Wilson at SunTrust Park in Hotlanta. So, playing for the Diamondbacks was Zach Gallen, their de facto ace. And in the lineup was Pavin Smith at first base, the Diamondbacks draftee. Cole Calhoun, I believe he was playing right field. Eduardo Escobar, third base. David Peralta left field. Josh Van Meter at second base. Stephen Vogt catcher. Nick Ahmed at short. Nick Heath, a new guy at center field. And Zach at pitcher. The Braves had Acuna, Freeman, Ozuna, Albiaz, Swanson, Pablo Sandoval, Guillermo Heredia, Austin Riley. By the way, I actually played against Austin Riley in high school. Maybe I'll tell that story at the end of the segment. Austin Jackson at catcher, and Bryce Wilson at pitcher. Which is funny because Alex Jackson was moved to outfield when he began his pro career, but I guess he moved back to catcher. That's pretty cool. Anyways, that was the lineup for the Diamondbacks and Braves. Now, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the game recap here. And also, we'll talk about the... I'll be playing the game recap video, too. So, MLB.com has MLB recaps, which I love because they summarize the game for you, and they also make it fun. So, you just see all the plays that scored, you see all the strikeouts, you see all the stuff that actually matters. I'll be doing that play-by-play and also talk about what's going on behind the scenes. Are you ready? Let's do it. I'm going to turn the volume all the way to the max.
Bryce Wilson, who's coming off a solid start, Jeff, last time out against the Cubs. Yeah, through 5.
So far, Bryce Wilson is 2-0, ERA of 1.93, 3 career home starts, WHIP of 1.29, 14 strikeouts, 5 walks to date at home.
5 innings against the Cubs, only 1 strikeout, but got a lot of quick outs. And you see that? He's been great here at Truist Park in 3 career home starts.
All depends on what thermometer you're looking at, I think. Yep. 1-1. Ground ball to the left side. Riley ranges to his left. Nice pickup. Wings it sidearm to first. And there's the first down of the game.
So that was the first out of the game as the announcer just literally told you right then and there. So what happened was Pavin Smith was batting, and he was facing against Bryce Wilson. First pitch took for a strike. 4-seamer looking 94. Second pitch, a sinker low inside for a ball. Third pitch, changeup, 88 miles an hour, grounded out to third base. Austin Riley scooped it up, fired it first, he's out. Then, coming up next, they're going to show you something else.
Keep an eye on that over the course of the afternoon. There's a fastball up, and Calhoun drives it to right. It's high off the wall. Acuna does a nice job playing that bounce off the bricks, and it's a long single for Cole.
Calhoun crushed a single deep to right field. It went off the wall, so he took a strike for fastball 95, swung over fastball 94, and then for third pitch, fastball 95, he's crushed to right field. They've got a high right field wall, bounced off the top, fielded it, held him to a single, because Calhoun can't run. But he threw 3 fastballs in a row, high in the zone, and of course Calhoun caught up to it eventually.
Popped up. Left side, Riley gives a peek over by the Arizona dugout. He's going to have room on the track, and Escobar's retired. 2 outs.
2 outs.
Off the middle, but into the shift. Dansby is there, wins the race to the bag, and Bryce Wilson gets 2 ground ball outs in a...
Peralta grounds out to Dansby Swanson, shortstop off sinker. First inning, no problem for Bryce Wilson.
Scoreless, top of the first.
Right-hander Zach Gallen, his 3rd start since coming off that hairline fracture in his right forearm and looking for win number 1.
Gallen, who's averaging more than a strike.
Start since coming off that hairline.
Had to go back. Gallen is now, at the time of that posting, he had played 2 starts, no wins, 3.72 ERA, 9.2 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, 6 walks, 7 hits allowed.
Line fracture in his right forearm and looking for win number 1.
Gallen, who's averaging more than a strikeout per inning. And where did that get him? Hopefully the bat, not the hand.
So on the first at bat, Gallen beans Ronald Acuna Jr. 2-2 count, high tight fastball. Acuna,
He was trying to get out of the way.
Hits his, I believe it's his hamate bone on his left hand, which is probably going to be pretty painful. So he's hurt.
I'm hoping, Jeff, as he released the bat, that took away some of that impact. Gallen wasn't trying to hit him. He was just trying to pitch him inside, and the crowd happy that Acuna will take his place at first base.
Acuna's at first base now. He's safe. So that happened on the first at bat for the Braves. 5 pitch at bat. 4 fastballs started out, a changeup, then hit by pitch. So that was obviously painful, but Acuna stayed in the game, and that's good to see. Now the problem with a hamate fracture like that, if it does get fractured, is that's going to be really painful. Canseco, in his book Juiced, talked about how he left baseball for almost 1 season because of his own hamate bone fracture. Let's continue. Now it's Freddie Freeman. We're on first base. 1-2 count. No outs.
Came back in there with that fastball and struck him out.
Gallen strikes out Freddie Freeman on a low and inside slider, which StatCast recorded as a fastball. No, it wasn't. It was a slider. So, 90 miles an hour. So, 5 pitch at bat, 2 changeups to start off the at bat, fastball, changeup, slider. Strikeout for Gallen against Freddie Freeman. Next up is Ozuna.
Right there with a fastball.
Gallen strikes out Ozuna on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Ozuna was not paying attention. 4 pitch at bat, fastball begin, cutter, changeup, and then fastball over the heart of the plate. Next up is Ozzy Albies.
Ozuna caught looking.
Ozuna obviously expecting some kind of a breaking pitch or something off speed out of the zone. Ends up taking a 94-mile-an-hour four-seamer.
Surprising thing with Albies has been that he has developed that power pitch. Hit on the ground to the right side. Over is the second baseman. Throwing to first.
Ground at second base.
And the inning is over. Well, Gallen pitches around, leadoff hit by pitch, leaves a man. We've played 1. D-backs nothing, Atlanta nothing.
Here's Post. And they're against the righty Wilson at a $172 and 2 home.
All right, so now it's top of second inning, and they skipped over this, but Josh Van Meter walks. So Wilson throws 5 pitches, walks him. Then Wilson tries to throw to first base on a pickoff attempt and overshoots Freddie Freeman. Van Meter goes all the way to third base. All the way third base. Vogt's now batting.
And he threw it away. Van Meter will move up to second. He might get third here. He's going to take the turn. Albies has to chase it down. And Josh is standing at third base. A costly 2-base error there for the pitcher, Bryce Wilson. Stephen Vogt hits one high in the air, right field, and it's gone. Stephen Vogt makes it 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Stephen Vogt crushes I believe his changeup actually, right down the middle. Let me look what kind of pitch that was. Yeah, I would say it's a four-seam fastball, but geez, 92 miles an hour, right down the middle, right in the wheelhouse. Vogt just crushed it at 38 years old or whatever he is. That's embarrassing.
Batting practice fastball right down the middle of the plate with that walk.
All right, and so then up next after him was Ahmed, who flied out. Nick Heath walked, I think. Now Zach Gallen's batting. So watch this.
Nick Heath, the Diamondbacks once again lead the majors in base on balls with 96. League average is only 67. Here we go again.
And Heath can fly. He'll stop at second this time as Wilson throws in.
Bryce Wilson makes another throwing error, and Nick Heath, who walked, is now on second base. Zach Gallen, the pitcher's up, and I believe there's no outs, top of second inning.
Another one away. Only played 5 home games. So far
He bunts him over.
Another 3-2 pitch for Smith. And he got him to swing and miss.
Now, he doesn't score. Bryce Wilson strikes up Haven Smith, so no harm done. Now we're on top. Now we're in the bottom second inning.
It's the 2-2. That's what you call this. Swing and a miss. Heredia swings through a fastball.
Gallen strikes out Guillermo Heredia. Good pitch.
That's out number 2 already. 3 strikeouts for Gallen. There's 2-0 D-backs.
So I guess we gloss over bottom of second inning. So Gallen gets Swanson to ground out on a knuckle curve to shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Heredia strikes out swinging on a fastball after seeing 3 straight knuckle curves. Then Gallen walks Austin Riley on a changeup. And then finally, we saw that Austin Jackson grounds out to the fielder's choice at third base. Third baseman throws at second base, and Riley's out at second base. Now we're in top of third inning. And Wilson's still pitching for Atlanta. So check this out.
Third, Cole Calhoun will lead off for the D-backs. Calhoun has one of the other D-backs hits. He narrowly missed a home run, hitting it high off the bricks and right down the line.
Second at bat.
Cole Calhoun gets it up in the air. See you later, Cole Calhoun. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
Well, the lefties are doing some damage. Calhoun again.
So yeah, Vogt and Calhoun both hit home runs this game. Calhoun saw, I believe it was a curveball. It says a slider, it looked like curveball to me. Right down the middle plate, crushes it to right field, 410 feet. Diamondbacks is up 3-0 in the top third inning. Then, of course, rest of inning, Escobar pops out. Peralta grounds out. Van Meter strikes out. Nothing much happens for the rest of the inning right there.
This time 105 miles an hour off the bat, and he clubbed that one with no doubt about it.
3-0 D-backs. Zach Gallen will face 9, 1, and 2. A hit batter and a walk. That's all he's allowed so far. Popped up. Acuna does the splits at the plate as it's all territory first base side. Smith staggering makes the catch.
That was a bomb third inning when Gallen got Acuna to pop out to first base. Not sure why that's a highlight play, but they included it here.
Fair territory, 2 outs.
Acuna didn't even bother running.
Going back down.
Bomb third inning still. Now it's Freddie Freeman up again.
What a play. Josh Van Meter's got it. And Gallen
Lines out to Josh Van Meter.
Third.
And that's more like it.
Top of the fourth inning, Wilson strikes out Stephen Vogt on a slider, low inside, good pitch.
Ball had some tilt to it. Vogt swung over the top. He struck out. Nick Heath, no balls, 2 strikes.
Nick Heath again, center fielder.
Did he go? Yes,
High inside
he did.
fastball, strike
Wilson
3.
with a high heat takes care of the Arizona center fielder. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Home fourth coming up.
That Zach Gallen has walked a man. He's hit a batter and he's fanned 4. Here's the pitch from Gallen. Swing and a miss.
Gallen strikes out Ozuna on a low inside knuckle curve. First out of the fourth inning.
Gallen to chase a curveball. Vogt drops it, picks it up, throws to first. Strikeout number 5.
Boy, nice pitch that time. The breaking ball, and he was just had no idea how to hit this.
58-footer.
2 outs. Here's Dansby Swanson.
1-1 is lifted out to left.
It's a flare.
Nick Heath has got it.
Catches it.
Nick Heath, go get it. What a play in center. Watch your molars. Nick Heath, a spectacular diving catch to end the bottom of the fourth in Atlanta.
With 2 outs in the fourth inning, Dansby Swanson golfs a low and away knuckle curve and sort of flares that center field. Not hit hard, but it's placed well. Nick Heath, the rookie center fielder for the Diamondbacks, runs what seems like a mile and makes a diving catch. Good play. I wonder what the Statcast probability of that play was. I'm guessing 40%. Seems unlikely. He seemed to get a poor jump, but he recovered, so that's good for him. Now we're in the bottom of 4th inning, and the Diamondbacks are still up 3-0. And remember, this is a 7-inning game, so it's about halfway through. We'd love to see that. Watch this.
One out for Pavin Smith.
Got a fastball and hits it deep to right field. Pavin Smith hits off the wall, and that rolls back toward the infield. Pavin's headed for third. Pavin Smith is in there, standing up with a triple off the wall. Escobar, 6 homers, 12 knocked in his last 14 games. Base hit. Pavin Smith is home, make it 4-0, the RBI for Escobar.
So I failed to mention, but I'll do it now. So Pavin Smith hits a triple to deep right center field. So Wilson throws a 4-seamer. It's high and inside. Smith crushes it to right field, gets a triple because of a funky bounce. Cole Calhoun walks. It's unintentional, but Wilson throws only curveballs. Curveball. And he walks Calhoun, which is weird because Calhoun hit a home run on curveball last time. I digress. Then Escobar singles to left field, as you just saw, and he drives in Pavin Smith. Calhoun goes second base, and we saw that just now.
He backs in the 5th with 1 out, go triple, walk single.
2 outs, here's Van Meter. 4-0.
Van Meter's up, 2 outs.
Get one more across here.
Up the middle and
base hit center.
That's a base hit. Here comes Cole Calhoun. Escobar stops at third.
Calhoun scores.
And it's 5-0 Diamondbacks.
D-backs up 5-0.
We go to the bottom of the 5th. Zach Gallen back to work. Comes the
1-2 count, 2 outs.
Swing and a miss. No chance at a curveball. Bounces away from Vogt. Bare hands throws.
Strikes out Alex Jackson.
Complete the put out. And now Gallen has set down 10 in a row.
So that was it in 5th inning. So Gallen strikes out he gets Heredia to fly to right field. Gets Austin Riley to pop out to shortstop on a low and inside fastball. And he gets Alex Jackson strikeout swinging on a knuckle curve in the dirt. So that knuckle curve in the dirt has been really effective for Zach Gallen this game. Now in top of 6th inning, Diamondbacks still up 5-0.
He hasn't allowed a hit through 5
innings of no-hit baseball so far.
Oh yeah, and that part too. Gallen has not allowed 1 hit. I've talked about Pavin Smith and Vogt and Calhoun, but they're all Diamondbacks. So Gallen has not allowed 1 hit yet, which is pretty good so far, even for a shortened game. Let's continue.
Gallen has retired 15 of the 17 he has faced. And Freeman shoots one into shallow right center. He's coming on. Calhoun can't get there either. There's the first Braves hit. Freddie Freeman comes through, and Atlanta's got it at the corners with 1 out.
So that was the bottom 6th inning when they finally got their first hit. So top of 6th inning, nothing happened, obviously. At bottom of 6, Gallen gets Adrianza to pop out shortstop. He walks Acuna on a close pitch, a 95-mile-an-hour ball, low and outside. I thought it looked like a strike. Then, with Acuna at first base, Gallen throws a first pitch foul ball, fastball. Then throws a ball for a cutter. Then throws a changeup, low and outside for a single. Freeman does not square it up, but he just kind of flares it to right field. And Nick Heath can't get to it. So, first and third, 1 out. And then Ozuna grants a double play. So Gallen throws a changeup, low and inside, first pitch swinging. Ozuna hits it to shortstop. Actually, third base. Third, second, first. 5-4-1. 5-4-3. 5-4-3. And he forces Freeman out at second base. So we're about to see that now.
1 out. Marcell Ozuna.
5-0 Diamondbacks pitch. Ozuna hits an
there we go.
On to third, backhanded by
Second,
Escobar.
first.
For 1, on to first. 5-4-3 double play, inning over.
12 of 18 outs recorded on 3 or fewer pitches.
Top 7, Diamondbacks do nothing.
Through 6 scoreless for Gallen.
Strikeout. Gallen strikes out Kung Fu Panda on a high inside fastball. So that's after Albiaz flies up to right field. And Sandoval pinch hits for Jesse Biddle. So now there's 2 outs, bottom 7th inning. Gallen's working on a one-hitter. He's facing Guillermo Heredia. Watch the sequence right here.
Yes, he did. Vic Carapazza rings up the Panda. That strikeout number 6 for Gallen.
That's at bat.
This would count as the first ever career complete game and shutout for Zach Gallen. This is his 30th career start.
Fly out.
And he's on his way.
Center field.
Center calls off Calhoun. D-backs win it 5-0. Gallen gets the complete game shutout, one hitter. And the Diamondbacks get another win on this road trip. They are...
There you have it. So Gallen, of course, showed up to play, and that was excellent. But you're about to see in the next segment what Madison Bumgarner does to top that. Stay tuned for more, only at the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we're back. Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host and your best friend, Great Bambino. We're still talking about the Diamondbacks. So, we talked about last segment how Zach Gallen just showed up for work today. He was just dominant. He pitched great. Struck out a buckload of batters. 1 hit, shutout, complete game. As much as a 7-inning game can be a complete game. I mean, that's just a bizarre rule change, right? How 7 innings played is now a complete game. I get it, but it's just like, wow, that's a strange rule change. Anyway, so pitched a great game, no complaints. Hero. We love Zach Gallen. So then game 2 was Madison Bumgarner on the bump. And so it looked like this. Bumgarner's playing for the Diamondbacks. He's starting the game, right? Playing for the Braves was Drew Smyly. Both veterans. They both had their heyday probably 6 years ago. But they're here now. And playing for the Diamondbacks is Pavin Smith. He moved from first base to center field. Nick Heath is still on the bench for center field. Carson Kelly is now catching. Vogt is on the bench. Asdrubal Cabrera is at third base. Eduardo Escobar is at second base. Wyatt Matheson's at first base. He's a guy I told you about. He's batting like 137. Left field is David Peralta. Shortstop is Nick Ahmed. Right field is Josh Rojas. And pitcher is Bumgarner. So for the Braves, Smiley's on the bump. After him in right field is Acuna. First base is Freddie Freeman. Left field is Marcel Ozuna. Second base is Ozzy Albiaz. Catcher is Travis d'Arnaud. Shortstop is Dansby Swanson. Third base is Austin Riley. Center field is Guillermo Heredia. Pitcher is Drew Smyly. And that's kind of it. So, I like the thing we did last time around where I kind of showed the audio, and we just did play-by-play over that. Told you on the details. I like that segment. So let's do that again. All right? Ready? Go.
Coming off a start on April the 11th against the Phillies. It's been a while for Drew. Hopefully he has his A+ start.
All right, so since 2020, since that season began, Smiley's been okay. So he's played 9 games, started 7, ERA of 4.1, whip of 1.04. Strikes per 9, though, is 12.8. So he's been striking out a lot of people. That's more than expected. Let's continue.
Stuff in game 2.
Pavin Smith, the center fielder, will get us started.
So Pavin Smith leads off, and so Smiley kicks his leg up. First pitch of the game, throws a 92-mile-an-hour fastball low inside. First pitch of the game. Watch what happens.
Congratulations to Pat. Pavin Smith looking to get him started on the right note, and there it goes! Pavin Smith! Diamondback strike first. He tripled in game one. He homers to start game two. Left on left. Get it right. So much for that.
First pitch of the game, first pitch swinging. Smith just hits it out. Moonshot to right field. Now, moonshot's a bit aggressive. It's 381 feet. But hey, let's just call it what it is. He hit it hard. So then Carson Kelly walks. Smiley can't really find the strike zone. He throws 6 pitches to Kelly and walks him on low inside fastball. So now Smith's thrown 7 pitches, got nobody out. He's down 1-0. Already he's not doing great. So then he's facing against Asdrubal Cabrera. First pitch, curveball for a strike. Then he throws this next pitch. Watch this. Runner first base, remember.
That's a fair ball down the line. It's by Riley at third. Carson's in at third base. And Cabrera has himself a stand-up double. Good start for the Diamondbacks.
Cabrera hits a ground ball to third base. That makes it by, I believe, Austin Riley. The ball kind of shoots in the corner. Carson Kelly goes third base. Cabrera goes second base. That's how the game works. So now, Smiley's faced 3 batters. Home run, walk, double, nobody out. Facing against Eduardo Escobar, he finally gets him to pop up to center field, shallow, on a fastball, and nobody advances. So now there's 1 out, rush second, third base. Now we're facing against Wyatt Matheson. 5 pitch at bat. Watch the next pitch. Remember, second, third base.
They play straight up for Matheson. 1-2. He swings and wraps it. Diving stop by Swanson. His only play will be to first in time to get Matheson. Scoring is Kelly, and it's 2-0 D-backs. D-backs.
Swanson makes a great play. So Matheson hits a ground ball deep into the hole, the 5.5 hole between third base and shortstop. Remember, kind of a drawn in infield a little bit. Second, third base. Ground ball. Swanson dives for it, comes up with it, gets his feet, but he can't have a play on Carson Kelly going home, so he throws to first base and gets out Matheson. So good play by Swanson. Diamondbacks up now, I believe 2-0. Not great. Now facing off against Smiley is David Peralta, and there's a runner on third base now. So Diamondbacks are up 2-0, right? And Peralta's batting. He takes 4 pitches. Cutter, curve, cutter. Now watch his next one.
Have a man at third now with 2 outs. 2-0 they lead, and here's Peralta.
1-2 pitch. Peralta gets it up in the air. Deep right field. There it goes. Diamondbacks in Atlanta. 2 home runs in the first against Drew Smiley, and it's 4-0.
So Peralta, you got to see him swing. I wish you could see it because it's just kind of like Peralta really does just one-hand this thing. Like he swings with only one hand on the bat and just hits a home run. He's on his front foot. It's kind of weird. His swing is slow. He's like swinging underwater. He just goes, eh. And then somehow hits a 450-foot dinger to right field. But yeah, Diamondbacks are now up 4-0. And Smiley's thinking like, oh, God, no. There's some days where you're just like, being on the pitcher's mound is the loneliest feeling in the world. That's bad. So then Smiley's trying to get his composure back. He's down 4-0. Game's basically over at this point. Throws a strike to Nick Ahmed, who, remember, can't hit. Ball, another strike, foul ball. And then Ahmed hits a ground ball to Austin Riley.
Left on left. 2 lefties in the inning. Both take Smiley deep. How about that? He's got Ahmed at second. 2 out.
Okay, so we don't show this. So Ahmed actually hits a ball to third base, Austin Riley, who makes a throwing error, and Ahmed scampers second base. So now there's a run on second base. And so then, now, it's just bad for Smiley. Second base runner, Rojas is batting. And 2 pitches in, this happens.
2 outs now for Josh Rojas.
Here's the 1-0 to Rojas. He swings and launches one to right. Acuna racing over, can't get it. 1 hop against the fence. Ahmed scores. Rojas digging for two. The throw not in time. He's in with a head-first slide. RBI double Josh Rojas.
Diamondbacks are now up, I believe, 5-0. Rojas drives in the run second base, Nick Ahmed. Smiley has now thrown 27 pitches, gotten 2 outs. That's not the ratio you want to be seeing. Then finally he gets Bumgarner, the pitcher, to fly to left field. So, ouch. Now, the rest of the game does go by a lot faster than this first inning, but I just want to share that with you. All right?
5-0 D-backs in the first.
It's Madison Bumgarner, who got his
Mad
first
Bum
win
on the mound.
last Sunday. 5 very solid innings in Washington.
Now, the StatCast on the game says that Bumgarner has yet to pitch into the 6th inning this season. Little did they know.
Popped up the cut fastball. Nick Ahmed.
So he gets Acuna to pop out for the first out. Then he strikes out Freeman swinging on a high and outside curveball? Yeah, it's like a slurve top of the zone that Freeman just didn't see or something. Freeman's taking some bad swings this game, so that's kind of weird. Then after that, he faces off against Ozuna, who grounds out to third base. So just like that, 3 up, 3 down, first inning, nothing major.
Mad Bum goes to the curveball and gets his first strikeout.
Gets a desired result. Gets Freddie Freeman to swing through an off-speed pitch up and out over the plate. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, it was doing that bad.
Around to third, another spin and throw by his dribble, and there's your shutdown 1-2-3 first for Madison Bumgarner, who has a 5-0 lead.
Are now in top second again. Smiley's still on the mound for some reason, and he strikes out Pavin Smith, looking on a fastball. Good for him.
And it's over the outside corner, and Smith.
Now, if you want the truth, that was a ball. Like, I'm looking at the StatCast right now. That was clearly outside, not a strike. Umpire calls it anyway. Pavin Smith's walking back, shaking his head, going like, no. Smith is furious at that, but what can you do? So, umpires rules.
Smith will be rung up for the first strikeout for Drew Smiley.
He's shaking his head.
Swing and a miss. And Smiley.
After getting a pop out from, I believe it was Carson Kelly, Smiley strikes out Cabrera legitimately on a curveball low inside. So now, good inning for Smiley. He needed that.
Smiley rebounds with a 1-2-3 second with a couple of punch-outs.
Can spot that fastball, throw a good curveball. He should be just.
Now Bum, second inning. So Mad Bum, so a ball was hit to Nick Ahmed, and Ahmed just makes a throwing error to first base, and Albies is safe. Ahmed's been playing like I shouldn't say the word, but he's not been playing well this series. He's just been terrible. So he makes a throwing error. Albies is safe at first base. Now Travis d'Arnaud is batting, and Bumgarner's on the mound. All right.
He's fine with a 5-0 lead.
Double play.
One more time, 4-1, and they roll it.
Kind of deaf.
That was erased. Now Bumgarner's facing off against Swanson. 3-pitch at bat, 91-mile-an-hour fastball, 87-mile-an-hour cutter. Now he's going to throw a curveball to Dansby low inside.
As we go on, but he really can run on guys. Pitch bounced.
There we go.
Short charging Ahmed. He throws that one over the top low and scooped on the backhand by Matheson.
Yeah, Ahmed throws a short hop to Matheson. Ahmed's been playing terrible this series. I don't know what's going on. He throws a lollipop to first base that bounces once and just barely gets out Swanson who couldn't fly. So that's just ugly. Yeah, I'm benching Ahmed if I'm the manager.
5-0 D-backs, top of the third. Eduardo Escobar.
Yeah, top of the third inning, where Escobar's batting against Smiley. So Smiley throws a 91-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. Then he throws a cutter for a ball. Then watch this curveball from Smiley. Watch this curveball.
Leads off. As Escobar launches the 1-1 down the line and left towards the corner. It is gone. Home run, Eduardo Escobar.
Well, he went down and got this ball, and you've been saying all along what a good low ball hitter he is.
Look at that pitch.
And I think he might have been a little out front of this and hooked it, and just weren't sure if it was going to stay fair. Curveball, and sure enough, it's hooking, and it hits the foul pole.
Hit the foul pole.
I'm impressed. I mean, that was a curveball low and, well, you can't see it, but it was just low. and Escobar just kind of like leaned over the plate and ran into the pitch and swung on it. So, I mean, you can't blame the pitcher too much for that one, but still, 6-0, not a good look.
Straight down, so I didn't get to the struggles, thankfully.
Bumgarner strikes out Austin Riley on a curveball high and outside. Austin Riley, he seemed to have struck out every single bat of the series. Not doing great. So he strikes out Austin Riley on a curveball high and away.
For the most part.
Well, he's got that curveball working. It wasn't quite down like Carson Kelly wanted it, Webby, but here's a curveball to Riley.
Yeah,
I think it's a pitch that he's using well today. That one kind of did spin out, hang up, out over.
Yikes. All right, so then batting next after him is Heredia, who flies out to left field, and Smiley, who strikes out swinging. Now, Heredia flies out after 11 pitches, an 11-pitch at bat, so Bumgarner just hangs in there. Watch this.
Swing and a drive.
Deep fly ball.
Left field, Peralta going back. He's near the fence, and he's got it. About a step shy of the fence, and thunderous applause from Stephen Crichton and Kevin Dick.
Yeah, so 11-pitch at bat, Heredia crushed it to left field. Peralta is running back. The bullpen for the Diamondbacks is right behind him. Peralta catches it against the fence, and the bullpen, who's just sitting there watching the game, are like cheering him on, clapping. Peralta turns around, like flashes his glove to Stephen Crichton, the reliever. Crichton gives him a fist back. That's pretty cute. I like that.
Ginkle for the catch by Peralta, 2 outs.
For them to pick.
All right, so now he's facing against Smiley. He's going to strike him out. Watch this pitch. 0-2 count.
And Smiley waves at a curveball. So looks like another big step forward so far today.
All right, so now it's bottom 4th inning. Top of the 4th inning, nothing much happens. Rojas strikes out swinging against Smiley on a curveball. Bumgarner walks. Imagine walking the pitcher. That's embarrassing. Then Smith singles to deep right field. Bumgarner gets thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop. There's this term called tootblan that I believe Fangraphs came up with. It's called tootblan, Tootblan. Thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop. So Bumgarner gets thrown out at third base, and then Carson Kelly flies out to left field, so nothing much for Diamondbacks. Bottom 4th inning, Acuna flies out to left field. Then Mad Bum strikes out Freeman again on a fastball right down the middle at 91. Watch this.
Right by Freddie Freeman, that's strikeout number 4.
Right down the middle.
Who has now set down 7 straight.
Now he's facing off against Ozuna. Watch this. So 3 pitches, 4-seamer, high inside for a strike, curveball, low and outside for a strike looking, and then a fastball, 90 miles an hour, low and inside for a strike looking. So Ozuna takes 3 straight pitches for strikes looking. Oh my God, that's bad.
Called strike 3.
Oh.
Bumgarner, 5 strikeouts, 4 no-hit innings. He's retired.
When I was like in high school, there's this one guy like who tried out for like the freshman team or something, who took 3 straight pitches for strikes in the tryouts, and the coaches berated him for not being more aggressive. I mean, wow, this was a little league bad for Ozuna. Anyway, not saying that Bummer did pitch well, but like Ozuna made it easier for him. So then the Diamondbacks strike again, top of 5th inning. Let me see if I show it here. Yeah, so pitching change. The Braves put in Josh Tomlin, the former Indian, to go pitch for them. Strikes out Cabrera on 10 pitches on a cutter. Facing off against Escobar, who singles to right field on a curveball. Then Madison grounds out to the pitcher, but then Escobar goes second base. Then there's a pass ball, and Peralta fouls at third base. Let's watch this at bat for Madison.
Check swing roller. Tomlin's got it. He'll take it to the bag himself. Nice play.
Yeah, so Madison grounds out to the pitcher, who takes the play over to first base by himself.
6 runs in 4 innings.
Foul out from Peralta.
And Riley says
third base.
He's got room down the third base line. Puts the squeeze on that.
D-backs in Atlanta going not only for the...
Now we're bottom 5th inning. And at this point, remember, Bumgarner has not given him a hit yet. Now he's facing off against Albies.
Sweep, but the doubleheader complete game shutout. Madison Bumgarner has blanked Atlanta so far through 4.
Facing off against Albies. Watch this. Foul out.
Gillies pops it up, shallow left center. Pavin Smith is underneath it.
One out.
And that's 9 straight set down by Madbum.
Darno hit into a double play his first trip. 6-0 D-backs, bottom 5, the 1-0. Swinging a fly ball to center field. Smith going back. Now a step onto the warning track makes the catch. 2 outs.
2 outs. Swanson. Uh-oh.
Pavin Smith is there. Madison Bumgarner has faced the minimum through 5.
Top of 6th inning now. Diamondbacks don't do... Well, they get another run, so Ahmed doubles left field finally. Then Rojas drives him in on a single, scoring Ahmed. There we go.
Josh has got a base hit. Here comes Ahmed. Make it 7-0 Diamondbacks. Another RBI for Josh Rojas.
That looked a lot more like the controlled swing we saw from Josh.
Madison Bumgarner has faced the minimum through 5. He's out there with a 7-0 lead.
There's a bomb 6th inning, up 7-0. Facing off against Diamondbacks, strikes out Austin Riley, gets Heredia and Adrianza out. Watch this.
Start the 6th. 1-2 on Riley now.
Strikes him out.
And there's strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Madbum, who has now sit down 12 in a row since the Ahmed era.
Here's the 0-2. Grounder to the left side, charging Ahmed, has it, throws on the run, in time to get him. Bumgarner's pace faced the minimum through 6.
We will also say that no pitcher has ever, in one of these 7-inning game doubleheaders, thrown a 7-inning game without any hits. No one.
So managers don't even know what to call this thing. Is it a shutout? Is it a no-hitter? What do they call it? So now Bumgarner's pitching. He's going to close out his shutout or no-hitter or whatever. Facing Acuna, Freeman, and Ozuna, the middle of the order.
Never done that yet. Got him. 7 strikeouts and 15 in a row.
Strikes out Acuna. Freeman pops out.
Left field line. Ahmed and Peralta. Nick in foul ground, and he's got it.
Ozuna flies out to right field.
Rojas is there. Madison Bumgarner. A complete game shutout. No hits for the Braves in 7. And the Diamondbacks sweep the doubleheader. They win game 2, 7-0. Look at that right there. That says it all.
Don't you know if to call this a no-hitter or a shutout? After the break, we'll talk about the rules behind the no-hitter and some fun no-hitter stories. Stay tuned for more only at GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you very much.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, boys, we're back. We're back in Birmingham for the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. And today we're talking about, Babe Ruth. Why not? So, before we do that, I first want to mention that we talked about the Braves and Diamondbacks. Affair. I wouldn't call it a game because Diamondbacks just beat the pants off the Braves, which, by the way, I like. You know, I live in Birmingham. Every bandwagon fan on here is like, I like the Braves. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I totally like the Braves. I'm like, why? And they're like, I'm like, is it because you happen to live near Atlanta? They're like, yeah. I'm like, that's not a reason. Like, a reason is my favorite player plays on that team, or I grew up with that team, or that's like my city. Like, if you live in a completely different metropolitan area, it feels weird to me that your favorite team is the Braves. I don't know. I digress. But I'm glad we won. And as a matter of fact, I happen to actually have played against Austin Riley He played for DeSoto Central High School in Mississippi, and he was pretty good. I remember he started the game as a pitcher. He ended up as the shortstop. I remember my coach at the time just said that the shortstop was really good. I think he had like a home run and like 2 doubles against us. We lost the game by a lot, and our coach didn't even care because he said that team was just way better than us. So Austin Riley just did a great job, and we knew he was going to be something special. I was surprised that he made it to the big leagues because he wasn't very big. He was like 5'10" at the time. But yeah, he made it. He's playing for big leagues right now. So it's just a small world, man. Small world. Anyway, I'm going to read some stories from this book called Baseball Anecdotes by Daniel Okrent and Steve Wolf. Aptly named. So this is about Babe Ruth, right? I opened my book randomly, found a story here, and I was like, yeah, I'll tell it. So this is a story that says, and more Babe Ruth. What a fantastic ball player he was, said Joe Dugan of Babe Ruth. The things he could do. But he wasn't human. He dropped out of a tree. His appetite certainly didn't seem human at all. Breakfast might be an 18-egg omelet with 3 slices of ham, a half a dozen slices of toast, and 2 bottles of beer. And dinner could be an entire capon, potatoes, spinach, corn, peas, beans, bread, butter, pie, ice cream, and a small pitcher of coffee. He was so fond of the barbecued spare ribs at a restaurant in St. Louis that he would order hundreds of them to take on the road with him. And he would set up shop in a washroom on the train and upcharge them to his teammates at 50 cents a portion, although he provided free beer. Wow. Ruth's girth, incidentally, is the reason why the Yankees currently wear pinstripes. Jack Rupert, the owner of the Yankees at the time, thought that his marquee player, Babe Ruth, would look slimmer with pinstripes. I can't repeat the next story, so let's see. Here's what I'll say. I'll probably toe the line here. Ruth was vulgar, but sometimes delightfully so. Once, while sitting around a table with several players and their wives, Ruth got up and said, "Excuse me, I've got to take a piss." And Ruth then left the table, and a pitcher named Herb Pennock, who was a friend of Ruth's at the table, followed him to the bathroom and said, "Babe, you shouldn't say that in front of the ladies." And Ruth was like, "Say what?" "Say piss," like that. You should say, "Excuse me, I have to use the bathroom," or something gentlemanly like that. And Ruth said, "I'm sorry, Herb." They got back to the table. Ruth sat down and said solemnly, "I'm sorry I said piss." Ruth's affection for children was genuine, and he made countless visits to orphanages and hospitals. The legend of Babe Ruth visiting a dying young boy in the hospital and promising to hit a home run for him, then delivering and guaranteeing the boy a recovery, that is probably hypocritical, but there is a real basis for that. Before the 1926 World Series, 11-year-old boy named Johnny Sylvester was badly injured in a fall from a horse, and he was given baseball's autograph from the Yankees and the Cardinals in that World Series, as well as a home run promise from Babe Ruth, who visited Sylvester in the hospital. Ruth did hit 4 home runs in the World Series, and afterwards he visited Johnny. The visit was noted by the press, who was watching and wrote a sentimental piece about it. The next spring, Ruth was sitting with some writers when a man stepped forward and identified himself as Johnny Sylvester's uncle. "Mr. Ruth," the man said, "I just wanted to say thank you for what you did for him." And Ruth said, "Glad to do it. How is Johnny?" "He's fine, sir. He's fine. He's home and everything looks okay." That's good, said Babe Ruth. "Give him my regards." When the man left, Ruth said to the writers, who's Johnny Sylvester? And the book takes caution to say that Johnny Sylvester should not have felt insulted because Ruth didn't know anybody's names. In fact, Ruth didn't even know the names of some of his own teammates. So Tony Lazzeri, who was the second baseman for the Yankees for many years, Hall of Famer, excellent hitter, once brought over a young pitcher named Miles Thomas over to Babe Ruth at a train station, jokingly introducing him as a new pitcher who had just been traded to the Yankees. Ruth said, "Hi, kid. Glad to have you on the club." In fact, Miles Thomas had been with the Yankees for 3 years. He had been Ruth's teammate for 3 years, and Ruth didn't even know his name and didn't even recognize his face, which to me sounds far-fetched, but what do I know, right? I'm reading what the words are. Waite Hoyt reported that when he was traded to Detroit in 1930, after spending 11 years as Ruth's teammate and as one of the best pitchers in franchise history, he was traded to Detroit, and when he told Ruth the news, Ruth shook his hand and solemnly said, "Goodbye, Walter." Is that real? Do I think that's true? I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, here's another fun story I read. Not about Babe Ruth, somebody else this time. One of the unlikeliest Yankees of the 1930s was a guy named Johnny Broeka, a student athlete from Yale University. Is it Yale College or Yale University? I don't know. I digress. Against the Red Sox one day, Broeka had a 1-0 lead with 2 outs in the 9th inning. The tying run was on first base. So 1-0 lead, 2 outs in the 9th, tying run on first base. And Joe Cronin, a future Hall of Famer, at the plate. Jimmy Fox, a super mega Hall of Famer, is on deck. Broeka starts pitching to Cronin, says his manager Joe McCarthy later. And he's not coming anywhere close to the plate. Ball 1, outside. Ball 2, way outside. Ball 3, even further. And I couldn't believe it. He's walking Cronin to get to Jimmy Fox. I yelled to Bill Dickey, the catcher, "What is he doing?" And Bill just shrugged. And there wasn't anything he could do about it. And Broeka was pitching a shutout with 2 outs in the 9th inning. He was pitching too well, but he couldn't take him out. So the manager was helpless, and he was watching Broeka basically pitch around Joe Cronin to get to Jimmy Fox. If you don't know, guys, Jimmy Fox is one of the top 3 greatest hitters of all time. Like, look him up. It's scary. So Fox comes up, and now tying runs on second base. Runs on first and second, 2 outs. A Hall of Famer, one of the best ever, is at the plate. Jimmy Fox lays into one. He crushes a fastball. Hits it to deep center field, as far as any ball he's ever seen in Yankee Stadium. And DiMaggio goes back. He goes way out there. He's at the warning track. He jumps up. He catches it. It misses a home run by 2 feet. DiMaggio caught it, and the game's over. In the clubhouse, Broeka's talking to reporters, and he says, "I was afraid of Cronin, but I knew it could get to Fox." I tell you, pitchers have like a sixth sense like that. Like, some pitchers just know instinctively if they don't have it, or they have a premonition they're going to give up a hit. So that's not so crazy when you think about it that way. So here's Jimmy Fox, just to tell all the youngsters out there, the whippersnappers who don't know who he is. So Fox hit 534 home runs. He batted .325. He had 1,922 RBIs, a career WAR of 94 wins above replacement, on base of .428, slugging of .609, OPS of 1.038, and OPS plus of 163. So his entire career, he averaged being 63% better than everybody else. Just for fun, let's look at Joe Cronin, see how he's doing. I'm on baseballreference.org, .com, good website. So Cronin was a shortstop who batted .301 for his career, .390 on base, .468 slugging, OPS of .857, OPS plus of 119, so about 20% better league average, 170 home runs, 64 wins above replacement. But most of his value came from his glove at 14 wins above replacement defensively. So Cronin was a good player. Hall of Famer, legitimately, no doubt about it, but still, pitching around him to get to Fox is pretty crazy, I'd say. Like, that's just top among things that you should never, ever consider doing. But speaking of Bill Dickey, the catcher, that day. So Bill Dickey is from another Hall of Famer. You know what, let me go look him up. Let me look up Bill Dickey. You know, I get Bill Dickey and Ernie Lombardi confused all the time. I just can't help it. So Dickey, bad left-handed. He was born in Louisiana, but he was raised in Little Rock. He hit .313 for his career, on-base percentage of .382, slugging of .486, OPS of .868, OPS plus of 127, 202 home runs, WAR of 57.2. It's pretty good. And just for fun, let me check up Ernie Lombardi, because I always get this guy confused with Bill Dickey. So Lombardi, let's see, he played before Dickey, I believe. Let me confirm that. No, about the same time, actually. Yeah, Lombardi batted .306, on base .358, slugging of .460, OPS of .818, OPS plus of 126, WAR of 39.5. Also a Hall of Famer, but he was voted in by the Veterans Committee, which is probably not as reputable. So he played from 31 to 47. Dickey played from 28 to 46. So I guess were they ever teammates? No? Okay, I thought they were. I digress. Anyway, we're back to Bill Dickey. So Bill Dickey was a superb catcher, unusually tall. He hit at least 300 in each of his in the first 9 seasons of his career, he hit 300. 9 of his first 10 seasons, he hit 300. He got along well with Lou Gehrig. He was the first in the line of great Yankees catchers. Other great Yankees catchers, I assume, include Thurman Munson and Yogi Berra and Jorge Posada, guys like that. Dickey never played for another major league team or even inning at another position. A catcher must want to catch, Dickey once said. He must make up his mind that it isn't the terrible job it's paying out to be. And he isn't going to wake up every day and lament being a catcher. Dickey also had a respect for umpires. During the 1939 World Series, when Dickey was at the tail end of his career, in 1939, Dickey must have been, he was 32 years old. Oh, I guess he wasn't too young. Monte Pearson, the pitcher, threw a pitch right over the plate, and the umpire called it a ball. The umpire's name was Beans Reardon. So Dickey stayed in the crouch, but did not turn around. And he asked, what was wrong with it? Nothing, said Reardon. I thought it was over the middle, said Dickey. It was, said Reardon. Then why isn't it a strike then, asked Dickey. Because I called it a ball, said the umpire. Oh. Conveniently, Pearson ended the game with a 2-hit shutout. After the game, Dickey told reporters, I'd like to say that the guy behind the plate worked one heck of a game, didn't miss a pitch. And here's a funny story about Lefty Gomez, who was a pitcher for the Yankees too, another Hall of Famer. These guys are all Hall of Famers, by the way. So Lefty, as the book says, his name was Vernon Gomez, but he's called Lefty. He isn't the best pitcher in the Hall of Fame, but he might be one of the funniest. A favorite of both Ruth and DiMaggio, he was nicknamed El Gufo, and he was an essential part of the great Yankees teams in the 1930s. In three of his first 4 seasons in the big leagues, he won 20 games. But the general manager, Ed Barrow, thought that Lefty was too skinny. After the 1934 season, Barrow told him that years ago, the Yankees owned Jack Chesborough, the first pitcher to ever win 16 games in a row. if Lefty puts on 20 pounds, then he will make the fans forget about Chesborough. Gomez did as he suggested and put on 20 pounds, and that year he went 12-15. And according to Lefty, Barrow told me to put on 20 pounds, and then I made the fans forget about Chesborough. But what actually happened was I put on 23 and made them forget about me. Gomez made fun of his own failings both as a pitcher and as a hitter. Batting against Cleveland's young pitcher Bob Feller, another Hall of Famer, Gomez lit a match late in the game as the sun came down and there were no lights in the stadium. He lit a match as came to the plate, like a match. And the umpire asked him, "What's the matter with you, Gomez?" And Lefty said, "Oh, I can see Feller just fine. I just want to make sure that he sees me too." And and after his playing career is over, this is a great story. He was managing the Yankees farm team in Binghamton, New York, in the Eastern League. During one game, he was coaching third base when, with runners on first and second, the batter singled center field. The lead runner rounded third, paused, and came sliding back into the base just as the other runner slid into third. As third baseman applied tags all around, Gomez yelled a curse word and joined them with a slide from the third base box too. Just to be extra about it. And I thought it was pretty great. I'm trying to be a good one here. There might be a good story here somewhere that I haven't mentioned yet. Oh, here's a good story. So there's a pitcher named Flint Rem, who was a right-handed pitcher in the 1930s, who was very mediocre. One day, he was with the Cardinals playing on their club, and he won 6 games in a row. But scheduled to face the Dodgers, Rem disappeared for 2 days. He disappeared, and no one could find him. And one day, he just showed up at the club again after 2 days. And when the manager, Gabby Street, asked him what happened, obviously, Rem told him a story. He, apparently, according to Rem, one day he was just on the street, minding his own business, and then he was kidnapped by a group of men who took him at gunpoint to a hotel, locked him into a room, and forced him to drink copious amounts of liquor at the point of a gun. According to Rem, he told his manager, "They wouldn't take a no for an answer, boss. They wouldn't take no for an answer. It was terrible. I was against my will. It was awful." And Gabby Street did not find him because he thought the story was just too good. And that concludes today's episode of the GSMC Baseball Podcast. Thank you for listening. It's been an honor. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Peace.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.